The Premier League has some of the best players on the planet, but what would happen if all the best players were there? Well, today we're going to find out. I've painstakingly copied out the top 200 or so players into a spreadsheet so that we can do a randomised draft and give every Premier League team a bunch of complete superstars. And then we're going to take them into career mode and take a little peek at what happens over a couple of seasons. So here's my draft system. We use a random wheel to pick a team, and then another random wheel to pick a goalkeeper, and then each team gets 2 centre-backs, 2 wing-backs, 2 centre-mids, 2 wingers and 2 strikers. Now I'm not going to show you the whole draft because believe me, it took forever, but here's a few highlights. One of the teams that came out of the draft pretty well was West Brom. Here they are picking up Marc-Andre ter Stegen, and believe me, they ended up with a pretty sick team. This one was sore for me, as Liverpool ended up giving Man City Alisson. Here's a crazy one, Newcastle United pick up Ramos. Now, if that huge financial takeover had happened, something like this could have actually happened. Nah. Here's a good one to highlight, Wolves get a little bit unlucky. But now, here's the players that you want to see. Newcastle go and pick up Neymar. Like, that's unreal. And then, after all that transfer request saga over the summer, can you imagine if Messi just went sod it, I'm off to Sheffield? Fulham were another team that did incredibly well. They pick up a striking tour de force. They get Lukaku and Cristiano Ronaldo. So then I hopped into the game and started transferring all these guys over, and now we can have a little look at the team sheets. Arsenal don't do too well out of this, although they do get Eden Hazard, and Chelsea fans will probably be fuming. Villa decide to bench Grealish in favour of Griezmann, Aubameyang and Paul Pogba. Brighton have a crazy team. Paul Lallana will have to watch on as Lewandowski, Martial and Fabinho play. Sancho decided to say no to Man United and move to Burnley instead, along with Ben Chedder and Lacazette. Chelsea managed to keep hold of their new German wunderkind Kai Havertz, but they have pretty poor attacking options up front. They just can't get rid of Higuain, can they? Mohamed Salah is leading the line for Palace with Matthijs de Ligt in defence. Everton poached all the Germans with Joshua Kimmich, Timo Werner and Gnabry. Fulham did possibly the best out of everyone here with Ronaldo, Lukaku, De Bruyne and Koulibaly. Leeds have Benzema, Bobby Firmino, Andy Robertson and Toni Kroos. Leicester got Sterling, Witsel and Jordi Alba. They could have done better there. Liverpool got pretty screwed over, to be honest, it makes me sad, although they do have Sane and Bruno Fernandes. City of course got Alisson, but also they've got Trent and Mane. They look like Liverpool 2.0. United have got a pretty weird team, with only David Silva and Aguero being standouts really. Newcastle have got bloody Neymar and Ramos, enough said. Sheffield got Messi, but apart from that it's pretty standard apart from Julian Brandt and Carvajal. Southampton get Harry Kane and Wijnaldum. Spurs also did pretty well, getting Mbappe, Marco Reus and Emerick Laporte. They'll be pretty tough to crack. West Brom did so well in defence with Van Dijk, ter Stegen, Marquinhos, but up front also it's Gabriel Jesus. West Ham, another team that did very well, they've got Dybala, Casemiro and Varane. And finally Wolves have Mats Hummels and Piqué in defence, very experienced there, and a Liverpool throwback trio with Hendo, Lucas Anlage and Luis Suarez. So there's the team sheets, let's get into career mode. We're taking over Liverpool here because I realised I couldn't check that many stats from another league when I tried to take over PSG. So anyway, I picked Liverpool, let's see what happens. I'll start by simming up to January. I was kind of anxious that none of the big players would get sold, so I wanted to check that they didn't, but as it turned out there weren't any huge transfers to make note of, so I guess all the Premier League teams were grateful of our gifts. Here we are in January, and you can see Liverpool doing not so well down in 13th place. Oops. Southampton are currently leading, Harry Kane and Wijnaldum clearly doing bits for them. Man United doing surprisingly well considering their choices weren't that huge. And Villa and West Brom also doing very well, with Everton currently sitting in a Europa League spot. Nice. City, even with their good draft picks, are down in 8th at the moment. Fulham also not doing as well as I thought considering that they've got Lukaku and Ronaldo. And down in the relegation zone it's Burnley, Wolves and Leeds. That's crazy considering the quality of their teams. In the FA Cup, West Ham somehow only drew with Salford, and Leeds were knocked out by Birmingham. Perhaps all that squad depth isn't actually doing any wonders in the Premier League. We got knocked out of the Carabao Cup in the 4th round, so that sucks. In Champo, Man United came top of their group. PSG suck now with their lost players. City, Chelsea and Liverpool also topped their groups, and Dortmund failed to escape their group with the loss of Haaland, Sancho, Hummels, Reus, and basically their entire first team. Poor Jude Bellingham's probably got the world on his shoulders right now. Arsenal topped their group in the Europa League, good stuff there. So now let's skip to the end of the season and see who takes all the glory. It's the end of the season and Southampton take home their first ever Premier League trophy. Everton coming second by quite a margin. I guess even Depay, Werner and Son and all their Germans weren't enough. West Brom do incredibly well, but to be honest, I expected them to go all the way. Spurs also qualify for the Champions League, as they should with Mbappe, and just look at that table, imagine that in real life. Lots of big names in the middle of the park, and just escaping relegation is Ronaldo's Fulham. That's unbelievable. It's Leeds, Wolves and Messi's Sheffield going down to the Championship. I'm sure they'll be back, but it's not what I expected at all. I can't wait to see Messi play Wickham away. Leicester won the FA Cup against Man City, West Brom take home the Carabao Cup against title winners Southampton, and it's Sevilla without any worldies in their team that takes home the Champions League trophy, and against Man City at that. We got knocked out by Lazio, another team without any huge stars anymore, in the quarter-finals. What on earth is going on? It was an all-German Europa League final as Bayern took out Leverkusen. Again, amazing considering their entire starting 11 is all over the Premier League. Taking a quick look at the stats here, it's Haaland that did bits for Arsenal, not Eden Hazard as I expected, and weirdly, the club insisted on playing Özil quite a lot. I'm just going to whiz through these. Obviously Aubameyang and Griezmann did well for Villa, Leva did okay for Brighton, Ronaldo with only 8 goals for Fulham, that is shocking. Aguero and Kane share the golden boot, with Immobile, Dybala and Neymar behind them. Modric and Bruno Fernandes doing well on the assist front. But what's weird is that nobody's actually running away with the goals. I guess maybe now everyone's a lot more normalised and flat with the quality of their team, and it kind of makes things a little bit more stable in defence maybe. Looks like it turns out having all these stars in one league would be kind of boring. But let's do one more season for a laugh and have a look at what happens this time. Here we are in Season 2 and I noticed Liverpool sold a bunch of players, so it turns out Sané's release clause was activated and also I forgot to renew everyone's contracts, so I'm probably going to get the sack. But nevertheless, let's have a look at how the table looks in January. Has order been restored? Man City are back on top of the Premier League, only just above Burnley and Brighton. Let's see how that goes. Chelsea also seem to have clawed back some form after doing shockingly last season. Fulham doing much better this year. In the relegation zone, unfortunately, it's the new sides from the Championship. I mean, the Prem's hard enough for Championship sides without having literally every 83 plus rated player in it, so sorry about that, Watford, Preston and Forest. In the Champions League, Southampton, the Premier League champions, struggle a little bit, getting beaten for points by Sporting somehow. Spurs, West Brom and Everton also, unsurprisingly, top their groups. In the Europa League, we've got Feyenoord, and Leicester are also still around. Right, let's skip right to the end now, and we'll see what happened in all the competitions. So here we are in May, and oh dear. I'm going to lose my job. Everton win their 10th top-flight title in a hell of a scrap with Burnley. Man City clearly couldn't hold on to their form. West Ham also doing super well in 3rd with Dybala. Why is our manager rating so low? We're in 5th. That's way better than last season. Fulham again failed to shine despite their talent, and look at Southampton, last year's champions are in 16th place. That is an awful performance from the champions. And it's Watford, Forest and Preston, unsurprisingly, going back down. Sorry lads, thanks for coming. We almost won an FA Cup too, but Villa took it in the end. Norwich took out last year's champions Southampton, a huge fall from grace for them. I wonder what happened. Leicester took home the Carabao Cup, some silverware for Witsel and Sterling, nice. And this time it's an all-English Champions League end with Lazio making it to the semi-finals somehow. Spurs won the trophy on penalties. Good for you, Mbappe. In the Europa League, oh dear. Feyenoord knocked out Liverpool in the round of 32. What an upset. Okay, now I understand why I'm getting fired. And the final English team in the competition, Leicester, made it all the way to the final and won, a double for Leicester. If we take a little look at the Championship, yep, as expected, the teams of Worldies made it out by some margin, although Sheffield win on goal difference only. What a crazy end to their campaign. Just taking a look at some of the growth in my team at least. Ferland Mendy, Fernandes, Goretzka are standouts, but clearly they didn't make that much of a difference in the end because we did really badly. And that's it. I think what we've learnt is that if you had a Super League, it would be really dull, because you kind of need teams with weaknesses to exploit, and these teams don't seem to have many. Either that or FIFA's broken. It's probably that, actually, let's be real. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know if you liked the video, and if you'd like to come back for more, I'd be happy to do more experiments like this. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.